Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of Drawing and Design in Architecture. And today we're still going to practice, of course, on the forms, geometric forms, because as I mentioned, it's the best way to really practice your kind of space perception and all kind of perspective. How you should be actually in design architecture when you want to draw this. You need to kind of be comfortable with the dimensionality. And this kind of exercises with geometric forms going to prepare you for this. And more you do this kind of exercises, better you're going to be. You're going to feel like at home in the space, and especially when you're going to imagine the forms, not exactly as they are on the picture or as you look at them when you have models in front of you on the table, but you're going to imagine you can put this one way on the table. If you prepare yourself the same blocks as I did, you can put on the table, but try to imagine how's it going to look from the other side, or from this corner, or from the other corner. Yeah, you just, without moving this and adjusting how you want to draw them, imagine it. So you're going to be kind of, if you can do that in perspective and kind of fill the space, what's going to happen here and there, you're going to be really very comfortable in the long term. So in design, you always, or in architecture, when you draw, you have to feel, you have to have the feeling of the dimensionality. If you don't, it's kind of difficult to draw objects very well, or any kind of forms. Anyway, let's go to our object today. So I share the screen with you, and here you are. You see I composed from three different elements, one element together. Yeah. So we have all kind of issues here, not very difficult, but still much more complex than the ones previously we have done. And we're going to draw this only in three vanishing point perspective. So we're going to kind of approach a little bit to the architecture and design. And we still might have one video with this kind of forms, but even much more complex. And after, we're going to already start drawing the real objects and so on. Anyway, so first, let's analyze this. So what I actually want you to try to do, of course, you can draw as it is. Yeah, you can have the reference and you can try to kind of draw on the paper exactly what you have here. But it's not the point. The point is that you look at the picture, you use the references you have there, but you build completely different view of it. So as you would walk around this object, you're going to be behind, yeah, over there. So one time you're going to be here and you look from this direction, another you're going to be here, yeah, and you look from that direction, and another you're going to be here and you can look from this direction, or you can just simply do it as you are here. You look it from this point, you here, yeah. You can do this, yeah, but this is very easy. This is not really complex drawing. If you just simply repeat what you see in the picture, that's nothing. Everybody can do that. But if you want to really check out how good you are in perspective, if you really understand the perspective very well, that's what you have to practice. Imagining the form you see as a reference in different directions, from different point of view. So let's just try what's going to happen here. Yeah. So we draw intervention point perspective, as I said, yeah. So of course we do what? You can start even first with kind of vertical kind of convergence lines a little bit, yeah. You know, to kind of lead you a little bit, you know, how you're going to go with this, yes. So you can have either something around those lines here. And now, of course, we're going to have what? Two vanishing. So we have some convergences here and there, yeah. A few lines, okay, visible here and there, okay. Let me just move you here, and this going to put there. So, and another, of course, we do here, for example, there and there. Few lines, doesn't matter how you're going to do them. It just, you have to think about gentle convergences. So here I just correct this line a little bit. So it's kind of resembling the convergences here and there, and the same those are kind of less the same. And also on the base there, if we kind of prolong the third vanishing point, you have less or more kind of, you know, the same convergence lines. I would suggest not to do this with the kind of any kind of, you know, tools you have in the computer, especially when you draw in digital forms, because you have to kind of practice really manually do the as straight lines as possible. Doesn't matter, you work on digital surface doing these exercises on the paper, you still need to rather practice your verticalities, nicely, like that, because you're going to be feeling much more comfortable if you can do that when you're going to draw everything. Yes, so you can correct after a little bit the lines here and there, because that's the conversions matter really to get you really good kind of, and get you some kind of good sense of what you're going to do. So you see, if you did right, you can kind of adjust this, and of course you can a little bit kind of erase the unnecessary stuff. Whatever you corrected, you can actually make it a little bit kind of, erases, whatever. So we have kind of grid, gentle grid, you see, one way or the other. Yes. So now let's start. I'm going to try to imagine, you see, we see this form like from this face, actually from this angle here, yeah? But I'm going to try to turn this form which way? Not as it is, but that way. So my base for this form, let's say I'm going to start here, yeah? Let's say I'm going to start from here, okay? Approximately there. I start with the base. So I go. Now, before I start drawing on the grid, I kind of analyze what I see here. So the proportions you already know, they're in squares, yeah, the front the squares. So one square you have here, yeah, another you're going to have over here, yeah, and the third one you're going to have over here, yeah, and then there's another half of it over here, yeah, for this form. So you have for this part another square like that. Then you see on the base, you have what? Another square there behind. And over there, if you go with this line, if you take this object closer aligned with this object, you have another third square. Yeah. So what you have actually here, perfect square. Yeah, because you have 3 squares high in the height and 3 squares in the width. So if I want to kind of briefly, imagine all these forms, how it's going to go, well, I can approximately draw less or more a square in the 3 vanishing point perspective, which I'm going to get something like this. But let's do this kind of much more exactly. So let's start with the middle part, yeah? 3 squares in the middle. So let's say my middle is going to be somewhere there. So let's go. So let's say this is my middle, yeah? So I'm going to kind of try to integrate to this middle 3 squares. So let's say the base is here, and the first square is going to be approximately somewhere here, yes? So, and the square is going to be a little bit lower than this converging line, somewhere there. So I can kind of intuitively feel how the other square is going to follow, yeah, something like this. But if you want to verify if you have the right intuitive perception of these squares, well, you know this already, it's very easy to do it. You do this, you find the middle, and now in the middle of these forms, you just go up, yeah? And you have one point here, another point you have somewhere there. So from any direction you go to this point, you have approximately another square going to be somewhere here, you see? And from this corner, if you go to this point up there, you're going to have a little bit higher, you see, it's actually over there, yeah? Something this, you see? You can correct your perception right away this way. So it's going to be a little bit higher here, yeah, a little bit there. Okay, and this is okay. So you have 3 squares in height in 3 vanishing point perspective. Of course, you can always make the perspective a little bit much more kind of stronger, the third vanishing point, yeah, a little bit much more dynamic. But if you do so, you have to follow with the others after here, yeah. You have to also find less or more the same convergences. And the same is going to be to the left. So this is not going to be right, yeah. This vertical is not going to be right. This is going to be okay, approximately this one over there, yeah, somewhere there, and this is going to be somewhere in the middle, less or more. You have this kind of references, and this is going to be a little bit wider on the base, okay, if we want to kind of follow this perspective we did in the middle here, okay. So now, because I am drawing from this side, so now this part which is here is going to be completely visible for me here, isn't it? So I just extend this because I have another square there, yeah, another square there. So I just extend this. I'm just going to make this drawing a little bit smaller. Just a second. Yeah, a little bit smaller like this, yeah, okay. So it's, yeah. So here we go. So now extend a little bit. I extend this side over there, and I can right away go a little bit further there. And of course, I extend, the height is 1 and 2 squares, yeah, because there is another square over there, yeah. So it's 2 squares high, yeah, from this side. So look, if I extend these lines over here, so I have 1 square approximately here, and the other going to be somewhere there, yeah, and it goes to the vanishing point to the right, yeah, and also here I go to the vanishing point to the right. Also here I will go to the vanishing point to the right. So let's take care about this. Here, the entire fun finishes here. As you can see, you see this 45-degree cut. So from this corner to this corner, I do the cut, yeah. So basically, I don't need any more those lines, yeah. I can actually evaporate them a little bit, yeah. So it's not going to bother me, because you have to also get used to be comfortable with all kind of lines you're gonna create in construction when you construct the object. So we have this. Now we know that the side of the object, yeah, is going to be visible here. So now you see you have these convergences to the left. So it's going to go approximately like this. What you're going to have here, of course, if you go with the perspective, yeah, you're going to have approximately what? 2 squares, yeah? 2 squares on the side, yes? Because that's the thickness of it, yeah? Something like this, yeah? Okay. You have it here and there, yeah? That's these 2 squares. And of course here, what is happening? Of course, you have the cut, yeah? These lines over here, yeah? And of course you have what? Another convergence. So look, the convergence is here as they go. So here would go approximately, you see that way, yeah? This way, approximately less or more. So you have these convergences for this part here. And what you see on this side, you have this part visible, yeah? Visible on this side. So if you just extend these lines here, you see, as you go higher, they get much more larger. And now look, this convergence was here. So as we continue with the convergences, actually what's going to happen here, you're going to see very narrow only the top, yeah? Very narrow the top, very just briefly, okay? Because the horizontal line is going to be somewhere there actually for this object, yeah? So let's go. What we have now, let's start from here. What we have here, you have to start from here because this object might obstruct the view of what I see here and this part, how I see it there. Because you see the other part, the other 2 squares is have 1 and 2, yeah, going to be where? Well, if you go, you see on this corner over there, if you kind of go seeing like through, so you see the other square normally, if they're aligned in front, is going to be here. But you know that this is backwards, yeah, 1 square back. So what you're going to do, well, with these conversions, is if you go there, you see the other object front is here, yeah, and the side is until the second, the second, the second square is over there. So the front is like this, yeah, over there. So that's what you see. You can also kind of eliminate these lines because you don't gonna need them anymore, yeah. Okay, so just kind of clarify a little bit what you're going to do. Yeah, so that's what you see actually, yes. And I eliminate these lines because they're not going to be anymore necessary. So this is the back part. And now what I have it here, 2 squares. 2 squares, so it's going to be, you see, this is one and another going to be somewhere there, yeah, the front, yeah, over there, somewhere there. So in the upper one, if I divide in half, yeah, and I divide in half over there, so here I have the red part, yeah, the red part. Here I have the yellow part from which is getting out some cylinder. So that's the part. And I have what? I have the top. And the top is how? I'm going to draw this ellipse from here, yeah, from here. So look, the convergence is to the left, yeah. So my major going to be this way, my minor going to be perpendicular that way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to circumscribe to this entire kind of square over there, the kind of, you see, ellipse there, yeah, ellipse there. So what you're going to see here, you're going to have only this part visible, yeah, This part you're going to have only visible, yeah? So now I can actually clean this, yeah, over there. And I have this kind of form, you see, done, okay? So I see this part, elliptic part there. Now the thickness, because behind what's going to happen, you're going to have the other side of it, yeah? But you're going to see only one small piece there, okay? You're going to see what I'm going to draw, because the rest is actually not visible, yeah, over there, yeah. If you take this, let me just see, no, it's going to be visible a little bit. It's going to be visible a little bit, because look, in this square what we have, yeah, in this square what you have, the third one, we have what? This cut. So if we divide this space is 1 1 and we need to do another square over there for the cut. So let me see how it's going to see. So you see, no, it's going to be covered behind. So we don't even bother with the roundness behind, because look, here we're going to have the cut, yeah, okay, the cut of this form over here. See, so this form, the triangle here, you're going to see there, yeah. So we can actually completely erase this part, and right away we're going to have this kind of form, you see, this kind of form over there. So we can kind of make it nicer. So everything what is behind, it doesn't matter to us, because is actually not visible, because this triangle going to cover it, yeah. So we're going to just see behind a little bit ending of the rounded part, and then we have the front over here, yeah, this kind of form over there, yeah, over there, okay, all this long form. So the long form gets us to this point, just a second, over here, yeah. So we have this kind of point there. So now I'm going to just kind of divide these parts, yeah, like this. So now we're going to see a little bit behind what is happening there, yeah, what is happening there, okay, behind. So we're going to see this kind of part there, okay, maybe a little bit this part over there. And what we have here, you divide this in 4, yeah, as we did previously, and you're going to have a hole there, yeah. Okay, so what you have, again, major is here, minor perpendicular, so you have approximately this kind of ellipse there, yeah, visible. And from this ellipse, what is coming is, of course, if the convergence lines you go, is kind of cubic, kind of in the cube, a circumscribed cylinder. So you just go with this, you're going to have approximately this, yeah, approximately like that. So we can clean this stuff here, yeah. Okay, so we have this another form done here, okay, over here, like this. There's one more, yes. So this all we can kind of a little bit kind of clean the stuff, so it's much more visible what we get there, yeah. Okay, of course here we have this part, you see, yeah, going to go behind. So you see you have this visible. So now with the convergence lines over there, you have the corner of it going this way, you see, yeah. And behind, of course, you have the other form. But what is happening here, you have extracted half of the cylinder. So what do you do? Well, one line here, one line there, we do kind of square there, and we do the same. So now major is here, minor is there, so you're going to have this kind of oval. So this is going to be actually your arch there, okay, on the behind part over there, yeah, going to be kind of arch this way. And of course the base of the arch, you will go as the convergence goes this way, yes. So what is missing now, of course, we have to extrude 2 ellipses here, yeah, because for those you know, cylinders. But let's just do first this one over here. So what we have in halfway of this, what is coming out? Of course, it's coming one square out this form, yes. And as you go with the convergence, you see, you're going to go there, yeah, and you're going to build what? This kind of form, yeah, in this perspective, going to go that way, yeah. And you have, of course, here, let's follow the vanishing point. So it's going to be this one. It's going to go a little bit this way, yeah. And from here, it's going to go a little bit kind of angularly this way, yeah. And this, of course, is going to go a little bit much more that way. Yeah, so just kind of small adjustment here and there, and you're going to have the front of it. Yeah, so let's just do the front. So I'm going to eliminate this part. Yeah, so just kind of, you just kind of follow much more easily what we built so far. Yeah, something around those lines. Okay, and now what I have here, I have to extrude half of the cylinder. So half of the cylinder, I'm going to extrude it. Yeah, so what I do, look, here I have half, half, another half, half, another half, half. So I have what? I have half of the, you see here is half missing, yeah? Okay, so to this half, okay, to this half, okay, I know right away I'm gonna do what? The cylinder, yeah? And how it's gonna go? Of course, now we're drawing from this side, so the major is there to the right from this point. If I go, actually I'm gonna do here from the middle because I'm gonna extend this, you see, I'm gonna do the square over here, and I'm gonna circumscribe the ellipse here. So my major is there, oh, sorry, from this, major is there, and minor is perpendicular. So I'm gonna have the ellipse form approximately such. So what, this is the kind of, you know, a middle part, yes? Sorry, and I go there, and I go there, and what I do exactly the same, approximately. So I'm gonna have this kind of cylinder going this way, and it's down the end, because look, now I have to extend this part here. I have to extend this part here. And what's gonna happen, I have two, one, and two, the same parts, yeah? So one I have already is this one over here, yeah? So I add another one somewhere there, and what I'm gonna have, of course, you can edit another square here, yeah, and actually circumscribe in this square, you can circumscribe another ellipse. So it's going to be something around those lines, yeah, and you just connect them together, yeah. So that's what you're going to have actually visible here. So now cleaning this space a little bit, so that's what you're going to see. So you have this ellipse here, yeah, okay, and this, the long ellipse is entirely, you see here, okay, like this, yeah. And here, of course, you're going to see a little bit higher because it enters in and it has a little bit goes this way, you see, okay, and you're going to have this kind of bite, yeah, of this form over here and there, and the other part of the ellipse going to be visible a little bit behind there. So actually we did the object, actually everything up. One thing we forgot is the opening here. So half square is here, another is there. So 1/4 and 1/4 vertically. So somewhere there, you see, you're going to have, somewhere there, you're going to have the oval. So you have the hole visible there. So if I put some shades there, so I'm going to have shades over there, yeah. And I'm going to have some kind of shadows, let's say over there, some kind of shades over there, some kind of shade on each of those objects, yeah, going to be visible somewhere over here, yeah, and over there, okay. And behind, of course, I'm going to have a little bit kind of, you know, this kind of object in shadow, and here I will have a little bit shadow, and also here I will have what, core shadow approximately, yeah, over there, here a little bit something, yeah, and some kind of shadows over there. So actually I'm going to have the entire form already ready to pre-sketch in much more right dimensions. So as I'm going to draw this, I'm going to adjust the convergence lines and everything. So let's try to do this nice clean drawing now. So if I just kind of fade this in my case, if you draw on the paper, you don't have this because I draw this particular stronger so you can see exactly what we do. But let's go now with the final lines. So for example, I'm going to take black, for example, yeah. And let's go. So you can start with any point, but the most important is the, one thing we forgot, yeah. What we forgot? Well, let's complete this actually part. We forgot one thing. You see these two cylinders here, yeah? So where are they? They're on the middle parts of the square, yeah, of the squares, each of the squares. So we divide this first, this part in 4. So let me just get back to the red, yeah, over there. And what? This is half half, yeah. Another half half is here, and another half half is there. So now we know that this is middle for one and the middle for another one. And if we do half here, and again, half here and half here, what we get? Squares in perspective, yeah? So we're going to circumscribe in each of it the ellipses because that's the base for this each of those cylinders. And now, so now, because we draw from this part, we're going to have the major there, yeah, converging to the left, the major, and perpendicularly to this going to be minor. So you're going to have approximately this kind of base of the ellipse there, yeah, okay, a little bit cleaner, yeah. I put the shadows there so it's not very visible, but well, something around those lines, okay. And we have another over there. So major is there, approximately minor, so it's going to be much more in angle, yeah, this way. So now, of course, this is very short, yeah, is what? Is one cube, so another going to be somewhere there, yeah, over there. You can connect the parts, you can connect the parts. So one cylinder, you have it there in front, you see, okay. This is this, and this is this. You have this one cylinder in front over there, okay. And then you have another one over there. So as you go with the third vanishing point, yeah, so they're going to be a little bit much more larger and longer going in what? This kind of convergence now, yeah, over there. So we have this kind of convergence. So they're going to go a little bit lower here and a little bit lower over here because they're going to go a little bit this way, yeah, according to the convergence we have to the left point. Yeah, that's very important. The convergence is to follow, yeah. And so now, so we have this base going approximately this way, lower, and the one is going to be approximately where? Over here, yeah. And you had another one the same, it's going to be somewhere there. So you have the cylinder actually going to be, the end of the cylinder going to be approximately somewhere there on this lines. Now we're ready to draw the entire form because we have all the elements constructed, yeah, and here's going to be a little bit kind of much more rounded the edges here, yeah, because the circles, the base, the ellipses are actually as large as the front of this part is, so they kind of go from one edge to the other, yeah. Okay, so now we really have everything what we need. So let's go. I'm going to kind of make it fade this little bit, and let's start to draw kind of the first lines, kind of, you know, not very strong yet, but first lines, for example, yeah, of this entire form. So I can start with anything, but let's start with the straight lines first. So I go is my first kind of line conversion to the third vanishing point, yeah, and I kind of try to kind of go there a little bit, yeah, like this, yes. And over here I have this kind of convergence, yeah, a little bit better, something like that. And here, of course, I go with the convergence that way. And now the verticals over there, so I have the convergences going approximately this way and that way, yes, all a little bit nicer like that. And of course here they kind of end, and I'm going to have what? This forms the horizontal convergence to the right, yeah? So it's going to be somewhere from here, yeah? Going this way. And it's going to go to the end of this square here. And now I'm going to kind of follow this third vanishing point convergence, you know, down there, yeah. And on the base I have here, so if I just kind of go kind of across a little bit, yeah, I'm gonna have somewhere there, yeah. And now this convergence to the left, so I have approximately there, so my base is going to be less or more like this. And now of course I connect the corners here because I have this 45-degree, you know, division. And of course from this I go to this point approximately, yeah, over there, yeah, I have this. And now convergence to the left, go a little bit this way, yeah. So, and of course, this way goes a little bit kind of slightly this way. So if I go now to the right side convergence, I'm going to have little something on the top, you see, visible, yeah, not more. And from attached to this going to be this triangular form, again, the same as on the left side, but it's going to be somewhere there. So you just go now with the convergences to the right over here, yeah, like this, okay, that way, okay, and well, a little bit straighter, much more, a little bit straighter. So just one gesture, but straight. I'm sorry. And now we go with the third vanishing point over there. So approximately this entire form, in order to align this exactly to the form I have, I'm going to correct a little bit the conversions. It's going to be a little bit wider there, and it's going to have this part over there, and of course you have the arch over there. So just kind of one gesture around it, kind of, okay, that's okay. And now we have conversions to the left, yeah, the base conversions to the left, a little bit nicer over there. And of course, what we have now this form, yeah, extracted from here or attached to this part of the square. So we go, and now convergences, we kind of check it out, is approximately going less or more correctly. And over there, if we go from this point, it's going a bit less or more correctly. And over here, of course, to the right now, convergences. So as I have this top square, I am much more sure how the vertical is going to go. So now I go with this, yeah, is basically, you see, following this vertical convergence here, and it's going to be somewhere there, yeah, on the base. And I have here, yeah, this part, and it's going to be somewhere here, yeah. And also the base going to go this way, yeah, over there, okay. A little bit much more straighter lines, that's important. And now I have convergence to the left on the base, visible a little bit here, a little bit nicer, kind of here, yeah. So of course here what we have, first we do the cylinder. So look, here is the part of this visible part, yeah, the visible part over here. But here you have the visible part of the cylinder, yeah. It's going to be somewhere a little bit lower, actually somewhere there, just one line, that's important. And now we have this ellipse coming from behind, something around those lines. And we have what? We have this entrance a little bit kind of inside there. And we're going to have what? A little bit deeper, a little bit kind of higher, yeah, like that, something. And we have the other part of this, yeah. And of course here we have kind of, going nicer and just kind of, it's kind of tricky on the vacuum because it's sliding all the time. Okay, so now we can kind of erase this line, because you see that's the front of this ellipse over there, yeah, something around those lines, okay. And now we go with this part over there. We see a little bit the opening there, yeah. So just kind of, you can add this kind of part of the ellipse visible there, and not the right, because he's much more pronounced, not very good. I'm gonna try like that and like this, yeah, that's much more better like this, but it's always better to use one shot to do this. So okay, it's there. So now of course we have this part as well, yeah, the divisions between these two parts, the kind of rounded one and this one which goes to the convergence. And here we have a little bit roundness visible of this half kind of ellipse there. And also here we're going to see a little bit small corner there. So let's now do these two big cylinders and the third one in the back. So here, of course, what we have, if you just kind of go with one gesture approximately, always try to do kind of one gesture, because it's always much more chances you have when you learn to do this kind of in one gesture kind of line, than try to do it kind of like that, like this, like this, like this. It's not going to be very nice. And so as you kind of learn this, you're going to be very comfortable in the long term to do this. So now it goes a little bit, you see, that way, less or more kind of this way. Oops, straight line. That's the much more fun of it, to do this kind of straight lines. And of course, the other part of the ovalish form over there, yeah. So it needs to be kind of really oval, because when we do kind of, for example, this and this, you see is not right. Yeah. So this is kind of right, but the other needs to be a little bit adjusted. Yeah. A little bit adjusted here, see? Okay. So you can always check yourself if you have the right oval and this way. So we do the other one over there, something around those lines. And now the convergence here, if we go this way, it's going to be approximately this way. Yeah. It's going to be kind of that way. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Let me check it out. Somewhere there. Okay, it's going to be less or more something like this. It's straight line only. Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, going to go again convergence. You check it out. It's going to be this way. So, and of course, we do the ellipses. Yeah. And do the ellipse approximately how it's going to kind of go over there. Yeah. So you have another one approximately somewhere there. Yeah. And of course, here you can just follow as they go, a little bit here and there. Yeah. Okay. A little bit kind of nicer. Yeah. Okay. Less or more. And we go that way over here, for example. Yeah. And it finishes what with kind of base. Yeah. Around it, elliptic bar is there. And you're going to have, of course, the other side of it a little bit visible. Oops, sorry. A little bit visible somewhere here on this side. So now, if I take off the red, you see I have this kind of form, of course. So as you can see, and now you see much better what you have done. So we can, of course, make it much more stronger, certain, lines to give much more kind of dynamic to the drawing when you kind of emphasize some lines, either with the connections or this kind of, at least the frontal ones, a little bit stronger, yeah, over here, over there, and also here as well, and here as well, yeah. So certain kind of, you're going to kind of win on the dynamic of the form, if you just emphasize a little bit kind of the certain parts of the drawing, yeah, you can emphasize a little bit kind of, stronger, yeah. Over here on the base, certainly on the base is very important to do that, because usually when the form touches the base, you have kind of strong lines, because that's how is the, it touches the ground. Okay, over here, over there, so all kind of divisions between, yeah, of course, a little bit here in this part, a little bit the arches over there, and the base over here, the base over here, so, and a little bit something there, and maybe a little bit stronger on the base here, a little bit stronger on the base somewhere there, and also over here, where's the ellipses, edges, a little bit stronger on the edges here. And of course this part, because that's the kind of ending parts, yeah. So behind this part, you can see all the other form which is behind, yeah, over there. So, and this you can leave it light because it's farther, yeah, don't bother with it. So now, as you have this kind of form, okay, you can actually start, a little bit brief kind of shading, yeah. So you can adjust certain parts and so on, yeah. So let's go. So everything depends how the lights come, yeah. So if it line, let's do kind of as we usually do, because that's or maybe we can check it okay, no, it's better to do this way over here. So for example, you can add a little bit stronger here in the front, just a second, a little bit there and a little bit here, and of course you can put some kind of sketchy shading here, yeah. So you're going to have the sketch somewhere there, a little bit kind of, and it's, as lower you go, it's going to kind of fade, yeah, because all this, normally the shadows are always much more darker on the top, and it depends, of course, on the angle of the light. So if you go to my videos about shading, you will understand better everything. So here we're going to have what? Well, we're going to have a little bit something at the beginning. This is going to be completely in shadow, yeah, because it's really, those parts of this ellipses are hidden. So you're going to have much more darker here. Of course, the lower parts are going to be very dark, because that's really in dark, but this part, yeah. And also here, this holes over there is going to be a little bit darker and kind of dispersing, yeah. And you have a little bit some kind of shading behind of this form over here, over there. Okay, and of course, gently you might have some kind of projections, depend how the light goes anyway. It might be entirely a little bit in shadow as well, yeah. Okay, and a little bit somewhere here and there, yeah, because this part's normally in shadow, yeah, as we decide to do the light. And furthermore, you're going to have here what? You're going to have kind of core shadows. So let's say, let's go this way. Probably if you go with this, is somewhere there, you're going to have some kind of also part on the top of it in shadow. And here we're going to have kind of very low, the kind of, core shadows there, yeah, and also over there some kind of very low core shadows, and also here kind of, oops, sorry, a little bit better, a little bit kind of very low core shadows here, yeah, over there. Okay, and from here you might have something a little bit, yeah, and also here we'll have some kind of projection of this form on the cylinder, but independently the cylinder is going to have kind of core shadow a little bit going this way or so on. And also this part's a little bit kind of, in order to gain much more dimensionality to the object, you can do that. So after, of course, we can make it stronger, yeah, with adding a little bit much more lines, especially from the tops, yeah, from the tops, a little bit kind of much more pronounced shadow on the top and less on the lower parts, yeah, over there, yeah. So we just kind of go and make it kind of cross-hatching this way or whatever. So anyway, but it's not about shadow, it's about the form. So as you can see, we did kind of the form completely different direction, yeah, from completely different side, and that was the objective of just creating something which would be kind of imaginary, okay, imaginary, and at the same time interesting as a form, yeah. So if you go there a little bit, cross hatching here and there, emphasize these forms, and of course you have after projection of the shadow on the lower base over there and so on, yeah. So all these forms going to project their own kind of shadow on the ground and everything. So that's of course is kind of drawing much more in depth. But what is important here to have be able to project from different point of view, looking at this picture, imagining yourself different point of views. And you can do the same form. Of course, if I go there, for example, just before we finish, yeah, so this is from the bird kind of view. You kind of flying a little bit slightly over the object, yeah. You're going to be somewhere over there as a bird, yeah, if you're going to fly over it, yeah, over there. Okay, so you're going to see a little bit from the top, this object. That's what you see it as you see it in 3 vanishing point. I'm sorry. Another one is going to be, of course, I'm going to just change, just briefly going to pre-schedule like in the last video. Okay, I'm sorry. Briefly going to pre-sketch the, third vanishing point, but from the warm view, yes. So let's just go briefly kind of, and we're going to, we can imagine the same form, but now in a different, the warm view going to be what? You're going to have a little bit the third vanishing point you have now on the top, yeah, over there, and it goes this way. And now the side going to go, for example, slightly a little bit to the base, going to go this way. And of course, it gets up there, yeah. And on the other side, you're going to have approximately similar, less or more going, you see, this kind of convergences. So let's say the base is going to be a little bit convergent that way and that way. So now, the entire form, if I take here, for example, by the squares, so I'm going to have the first square approximately somewhere here. Another one is going to be approximately somewhere there, yeah. And I have 3, and the third one going to be approximately somewhere here. Now, from here, I have, if I start, for example, with the middle, so if I start with the middle, that's the part you see visible there until the first square. First square is here, yeah? That's the part visible. Now, what is happening here? I do extension of this, and I have another square, yeah, going to the third vanishing point on the top. But what is happening? I have the cut over there, yeah? So I'm going to see, you see, just little, this kind of top of the triangle over here, yeah? And as you go now to the base, you're going to have this base approximately something around those lines, yeah? So you're going to have this, but a little bit lower, because this is going to go, you see, entire part over there. So you're going to have the base somewhere there. Okay. So if you put a little bit shadow, it's going to be something like this. And what you have there, you're going to have this part, you see, and from there, the divisions, you're going to have now, you see a little bit raised up this part, and from here, you're going to go a little bit this way, yeah, okay. And you have, of course, here, you have the kind of prismatic form over here, yeah, and you kind of follow the convergence to the third vanishing point, going to go this way. What you have here, of course, you have you're going to extract from here the ellipse, and you're going to have this part like this, and this part like this is going to be extended, because you see now the ellipse, you see the major is here, the minor, so it's going to have approximately here, it's like one, yeah, okay, one. So it's going to be approximately here, you're going to have this cylinder visible that way, and at the end you have the end of the cylinder there approximately, yeah. So if I want to clarify the form a little bit, so I can clarify for you, you see it's going to be something like this from the you know, a third vanishing point, from the kind of view of from the worm view or the frog view, because in Europe actually we name it frog view, not the worm view. And here in America, they kind of name it worm view, but in Europe is the frog view. So if we go there, so just apply a little bit shading, something to just kind of make it much more dimensionalize the form, and of course some kind of core shadow over there, and so on, disappearing and so on. So we have this part done. We can add a little bit shade over there. What else we see here? To this vertical form, we have two other cylinders, yeah, and when they, as you know, is there in the middle of each square, yeah, somewhere there. So as you draw from here, major is here, oh sorry, is the middle over there, major is here, minor is there, so the base for those is going to be like this, okay. And over there again, major is here, and perpendicular to this is the minor, so you're going to have another ellipse this way. So now you can imagine the other cylinders going this way, and from here they're going to just kind of extend the vanishing points over there, and you have what one is the upper one is twice of this side, yeah. So it's side, so the another is going to be here, and another going to be somewhere there. So you have this one, sorry, a little bit nicer, going this way, yeah. So you see this one you have already somewhere there, the cylinder, yeah. And this one is very small because it's just one cube, so it's going to be approximately something like this, yeah. So you have here the other one over here, yeah. So now if you add a little bit kind of shading here, a little bit kind of shading there, yeah, and just kind of erase the unnecessary parts, yeah, so you're going to have approximately less or more this kind of form of the cylinder visible from this frog view or worm view at third vanishing point, yeah, it's going to be something like this. So of course you're going to have what the core shadow, yeah, a little bit going this way here and there, and a little bit something like this like here and there, of course, and you're going to have the form here and there. What we're still missing is, of course, this part over here. But from this point of the view, so if you go kind of across this, yeah, so this is the part, is another square attached to it, you see, another square is this square over here, yeah, this square over there, yeah. So if you go, you have the end of the square. And now behind, oh, this is the end of this part, and you have another square over there. If you extend this line, what you're going to have, if you extend one square, it's going to be there. You're going to have from this point to this point, what? Cut, yeah. So you see this, and you're going to see a little bit the lower part of it, yeah, of this triangle, yeah. So let's just eliminate these parts over there and there, yeah, over here and there. And this is also empty, yeah, it's nothing there. We don't see, of course, the opening here, because this cylinder actually is hiding it, yeah. So what we're going to see in behind, look, the other form is attached to it, is somewhere there, you see. So from here now, you go up there with the other form. And how it is, if we go from here there, it's somewhere there is going to be the one, yeah, the first square. So half of it is going to be the red part. And we're going to see a little bit, you just kind of intuitively going to put the hole there, this part, and then you will see this one from which comes another cylinder, this one over here, yeah. So you see this another square is going to be there, okay, behind. And what we have it on the base, major, minor, so you have approximately this kind of ellipse, and from there is what? Coming another cylinder, yeah, okay, in one cube, yeah, over there. So you have this kind of thing. You have, of course, core shadow over there, yeah, and you have from this top, you have a rounded little bit ellipse of this part, but it's very little visible. So now, well, let's do just a brief sketch so we can see how to do this in kind of a warm view in here. So I put another layer. This I'm going to kind of fade a little bit, and we're going to do, what I'm going to do actually here, I'm going to just kind of detach this sketch from this drawing. I'm just going to kind of detach this a little bit. Now I should take another layer, but it's no problem. Anyway, so we go here. I just detached this little bit, this view. So we're going to have kind of two different views. One is a little bit from the top. You can exaggerate this perspective, of course, drawing them from all kind of different, parts and so on. But in order to do this, just a second, I just going to also detach this part over there. Yeah, completely. Okay, so that's it. And here, of course, I'm going to just erase this completely. Yeah, like that. Okay, so let's just go to this layer and kind of pre-sketch the other form. Yeah, maybe in different colors. So let me take maybe brownish a little bit to just kind of differentiate them. So I'm gonna actually make it a little bit larger, this drawing, slightly larger this part, okay, a little bit larger like that, yeah. And I'm going to put it closer to this one. Okay, so let's go briefly, just the contours. I don't going to do any application of shading, but just the basic contours. So here we go. So basically to clean this, make it a little bit cleaner, the sketch. So just kind of go there, and make it kind of, gestural lines here, a little bit something here, a little bit going this way, over here, a little bit going that way, over here as well, yeah. And you have this angle, you have the base angle. The base angle is convergence to the left. You have this parts over there. You have another over here, yeah, as well. And just briefly kind of here and there, kind of just simply make a little bit cleaner this entire, drawing of this form, yeah. And third vanishing point, but kind of view, the warm view or the frog view is up to your preferences, what you prefer to name it, yeah, one and the other. Okay, so yeah, anyway, much more straighter line here. Okay, and also here with the convergences, go this way. Of course, we're going to have this line, this vertical, it's going to go a little bit straight there. And we have a little bit the view over here, and over there we're going to have just actually not visible because the cylinder actually a little bit going to be something visible there over here. And we have the base for the cylinder approximately coming this way, yeah, and coming that way. And you kind of go with the cylinder one way here. Oops, a little bit better, something like this, yeah. So something around those lines, a little bit rounder, well, close. And then we have the kind of triangular part. We can see this there, and we can see a little bit the lower part of it. And here we have the other one, yeah, the other one going like that, a little bit nicer, something like this approximately, well, close. And we go this way, yeah, and we have another kind of convergence going a little bit kind of that way, yeah, a little bit nicer, yeah. And we have, of course, this is much more shorter, So it's going to be but a little bit going with the roundnesses. Yeah, with the roundnesses kind of here. Yeah, there's more. Okay, over there. And we have what the other form visible over there behind. And we see this part, yeah, going there. And we see this part going there. And we have this cylinder, of course, in front of us. It's very kind of, strong because, we see this kind of really from the kind of lower view. Yeah, something around those lines, a little bit much more gestural roundness here. Yeah, okay. Anyway, and the other is somewhere like this, and somewhere around those lines over here. Yeah, there's a more. Oops, a little bit nicer. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit nicer there. Okay, and we have the end over there, a little bit visible, kind of there. We don't want to make too strong lines because it's farther. So kind of when you draw in perspective, you also need to think about the space over there. Yeah, so what is darker, what is lighter, and we have another kind of, you see, cylinder over there, visible of these forms. Yeah, so it's something around those lines, and of course we go to the lower parts over there, somewhere there, and we see a little bit the roundness of the other arch there. Yeah, so but that's what we have approximately as the object. So you see, you have in both cases you have one from the slightly from the top, one slightly from the ground. So just few lines here and there, and few lines here and there. This kind of need to be a little bit adjust over there. Yeah, a little bit here, and this kind of uh, needs to be a little bit adjusted, and this little bit kind of added here, and maybe a little bit much more even exposed to there. So anyway, you can do this kind of, if you draw at home and you practice, you can make it much more nicer, everything. But the important thing is to know how to construct it. Yeah, how to construct it. So that's it. That is about the sessions that I'm trying to kind of encourage you to imagine the forms and practice the perspective, not as you normally you would be asked to have an object in front of you and try to kind of make it. No, this is not very difficult if you have the object in front of you. You try to imagine the object. That's the part which actually is much more important than really depicting this exactly as you see it. Okay, so and especially of course if you want to be good in perspective and kind of have the better judgment of proportions and everything. Anyway, so that is approximately all for today's session. And just a second, for today's session. And I hope you're going to be able to do this and have fun with it. So thank you very much and see you next time. Bye-bye.